Welcome to the First and 30 podcast. This is episode 45. Antonino, what are we all about, man?
We're two 30-something-year-old guys, and we're giving you 4 cartoonish downs in 30 Jerry World-inspired minutes of NFL football insight to get you through your day.
I wonder what that could be alluding to and what that could mean. Well, I mean, this whole episode, Antonino, we're just going to spend it a little differently. We'll go through our 4 downs, but we just got back from a voyage, an expedition, a pilgrimage, if you will, to the Mecca of all football, which is Dallas, Texas. I'm excited to spend some time just rehashing that experience with you. All right, are you excited?
Absolutely. Everything is bigger in Texas. We all know this. We saw AT&T Stadium. We saw the lights, the cameras, and the action. And we're going to break it down for everyone to know the ins and outs of what it's really all about.
That's right. We're going to pull the curtain back, give you the firsthand, in-depth experience of AT&T Stadium. But before we do that, and before we get into this, Antonino, I have a quick bone to pick with you. Could you have any idea what this might be about?
No clue.
I'm throwing our dirty laundry out there. So for those of you who don't know, Antonino manages our social media accounts. He's so gracious to do so. He grinds at it. He makes connections. It's a passion of his, I think.
Yes.
I every now and then, from time to time, we'll just do a little spot check, see what's going on, what he's representing us, what light he's putting out there for us. And I couldn't help but notice, Antonino, since we've been back from our trip, and maybe even precursing that, there have been a lot of pro-Bengal content that you have been sharing.
Yes.
And I've started noticing a little bit of negative Cowboy content, too. So there's a lot of bias going on, and I have to remind you that this is a nonpartisan podcast.
That's right. That's
okay?
right. Yeah, so I have to paint the picture here for everyone. I just went halfway across the country with 3 Cowboys fans, mind you, talking that junk all day and night, how they're going to put a nail in the coffin to the Bengals season. It's going to be a funeral. All this hot air was going all over the place. And now it's my turn to clap back. Now that we got that big fat old dub, so it's the least I could do. I've been outnumbered all weekend, so this is my chance to just put that cherry on top.
All right, that's fine. That you do it in this passive way, this non-confrontational way, just like sneakily posting your memes and videos, whatever, man. I just had to bring this up with you. Sorry to put our dirty laundry out there. This probably should have been handled in a team meeting, but whatever. All right, man. Well, let's get right into this experience that we had. First down, the Star. So what is the Star? It's the Cowboys practice and training facility. It's their corporate headquarters. We spent all day Sunday, this past Sunday, at the Star, getting to experience it in all of its glory. We did the tour. So let's just recount that experience, Antonino. What was that like for you when we first drove up to it, when you started like perusing this area? Give me your initial reactions to this facility in this area.
Well, first of all, we were driving by, and I hear all you guys saying, the Star, the Star, the Star. What the heck is the Star? Everyone's talking about the Star. I'm looking around for a star with maybe Christmas lights. I didn't know what they were talking about. So we pull in, and I still don't know where the heck we are. But eventually we get to this nice turf field, and I see this big building, and I get the hint. We're at the facility here. Yep.
Yeah. And it was interesting, too, driving into this area. It's all developed around this particular facility. And you start to get the sense of that when you're going by Cowboy Lane and Jerry Street or whatever it is. All these Cowboy themed streets and roads like Dallas Cowboy Boulevard or whatever, Ed Too Tall Jones Drive. I don't even know. But the whole area is just like themed and centered around this training facility. And if you've had the opportunity to watch Hard Knocks from last year, probably the highlight of that entire show was the drone footage capturing the Star from the outside going in.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. The place, though, it's like a mall. It's like a Disney World for Cowboy football, right? Like the store and everything that was right there.
It was so cool. I'm not gonna lie, we got lucky. I don't know if they do this every day, but we got tickets to go on a tour. I didn't think we were gonna be able to even go inside this place. I thought it was cool from the outside, and you know what happened. Your boy, the red and blue, was after him again. I know I shaved to a mustache for this trip, but the handcuffs almost came out when I tried to take a picture of the players from outside of the practice facility.
Well, yeah, so we were right. We were standing on the field. You and I. We were waiting for the other guys that we were with to finish up their shopping. They were very shopping obsessed. And Antonino and I, we kind of walk up to the facility, and we're like peering through the window or the glass doors, and we see the players, like the actual
Yeah.
Cowboy players, and they're practicing, preparing for this game on Monday night. And obviously the reaction that Antonino, what did you have? You pull the phone out, you start
Yeah.
taking pictures, and what the security immediately comes up, and what did they tell you? They're like, you have to delete it.
From both sides, one from inside the building, one from outside the building, comes over to me, delete that. And the other guy behind me, give me your phone. I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a sec, buddy. I didn't even take a picture yet because they were sprinting left to right and they weren't in the picture frame yet. But man, they came at me hard and quick.
Well, that set the tone, right? Going into this tour for me, I think that just set the tone right away. It's like, what secrets are they trying to protect? And I was asking the security guard too. I'm like, why taking all these measures? What is it? He's like, it's an NFL policy. You can't take film. You can't do this and that. I'm like, okay, fair enough. So I mean, we went on the tour. What was the highlight for you though when you got to go inside the actual facility?
Gosh, they were all freaking highlights. Besides wadding my way through these ugly football trophies that might be called Super Bowl trophies, I had to get
Yeah,
I had to
real
go
quick
around those.
there. Real quick about those football trophies. Antonino outed himself during this experience that he was a Bengals fan, and
Ah, yes.
people kind of poked fun at the fact that the Cowboys had 5 trophies sitting in their facility where the Bengals just have that empty spot they've been
Ah, yes.
holding for
Yes.
the team's
Those
existence.
trophies are gathering dust, mind you. Those trophies are a thick layer of dust on all your trophies. But that's besides the point. We did go on a great tour. The gym, the weight room, insane. There's so much technology there. They track everything they lift, the weight amount, the reps. Everything is down to the T. That was amazing. Just state of the art weight room.
Yeah, I mean the dining facility too. The players have all these catered meals, like the dining's inside, all the memorabilia as well. Like it's quite impressive, but also quite opulent. I would say just the amount of moments that they're capturing, all the art and the memorabilia that they're showcasing, and then of course the tour has to end with good old Jerry Jones and his Hall of Fame bust, and it just seemed a little egotistical, but that's just you
Yep.
would think that you were the Cowboy fan though, honestly. Like I was impressed. It was cool, but
Yeah,
draft room.
my what to say? A bushy-eyed, what big-eyed, bushy tail, whatever the saying is. I feel like that's what we were walking through this uh,
Yeah, this
building, just looking at the
facility, yeah.
practice field, the turf. The goalposts on the practice field were more narrow than usual. I think it was a third of the size, so that gave Aubrey, your kicker, even better practice during the week. Just little things like that. Just their goal is excellence, and everything about that building and the field gives the players the opportunity for excellence.
Yeah, so with the goalposts, they narrow it
Yep.
intentionally. So on one side of the field, so that the kickers, in theory, if they can make it on a more narrow goalpost, they'll be able to make it in the regulation size goalpost. So that was cool. And then last point here, just the draft war room. I mentioned it offhand, but we did
Yes.
have the opportunity to go into the actual war room, took a
So cool.
picture there of like where Jerry Jones would sit, kind of going through and living that process and what that might be like. But the star, cool experience. That was how we kind of kicked started this whole journey on Sunday. But let's head into second down, man, and cover the tailgate because part of every football experience, we really like encapsulated it all. We got to go to the facility and then the tailgating experience. What was that like from your perspective, man? Because there was a lot of Bengals fans here too, and I was quite surprised. It was funny, everyone. Antonino was a fan of the fans.
That's
I
right.
didn't know that was a thing, but
That's
Antonino
right.
knew specific Bengals fans that were there.
Yep.
Just I guess they're you explain it. Talk
So
to us about this.
so I like to say that we're a family, all right? So all these Bengals super fans, we're a family on X. The couple 3,000 followers that I have, most of them all Bengals fans. A few of those make up the super fan group, all of which that happen to be at this game. So Bengals fans travel extremely well. And you saw Bengal Jim, you saw Who Dey Baby, you saw all the biggest fans that are at every single game here at the tailgate. And again, my following on Twitter, on X, I was able to find the tailgate that we eventually would go to that a super fan was at. We'll touch on that in a little bit. So the connections all taking shape here for tailgating.
That's right. It was kind of funny. Like Antonino was walking up to me. He's like pointing at some random person. He's like, "That's Who Dey Baby." I'm like, who dat? Like, I don't know who that is. Cool, man. So I'm taking pictures of Antonino with all these like random strangers that are just super fans. But as we, started to learn when we actually got to this tailgate that Antonino had discovered on X, there's actually a fan hall of fame, like an NFL fan hall of fame, and it's kind of a fraternity. So I had the opportunity to start chatting with one of these members of this basic fraternity of NFL fandom, and it stretches all across the country. They induct a new member every year. They get like a medallion too. It's quite interesting. Did you know about this beforehand? Like, was
Yep.
this something you were aware of?
Yeah, absolutely. Just the point, like the Bengals have their own fan of the year, and that's how I knew about Who Dey Baby. And the year before that, Bengal Jim. And they do so much in the community. It's not just go to the games, wear face paint, and you're a fan. It's what they do in the community, how they help others, and just football as a whole, how it brings all these people together for good. It just really touched us. It was impactful for me.
It was for me too. Like I was kind of surprised to hear it was philanthropic by
Mhm.
nature that when they're recruiting or when they're scouting the
Yeah,
fan of the year, they do look into the individual's background in community service, what they've done for their community. So it's not just about getting wasted and being a cool guy or gal. It's more than that. It's more of like, who are you as a person and how are you giving back to the people around you? And I think football kind of embodies that in some way for these folks because it's like, well, this is an embodiment of our community. It's a manifestation of our community, this football team. And, it's something that brings people together. So how can we stretch that outside of just football, which is
that's
cool?
right. And I feel like that, the frequency, the energy, all the positive vibes that came from that was the perfect way to start the day leading up to the game. So we spent our whole tailgating experience with these super fans talking about this. And me, you know me, I'm enjoying the all you can eat, the all you can drink. I'm going through all those motions too. And then the music starts to pick up and then we start heading towards the stadium. But that was a great way to kind of get that started.
It was. I mean, what's a football game without a little tailgate? But something that's really cool outside of AT&T Stadium, you have Texas Live right
Mhm.
across the street, which is basically a bunch of bars, a cool outside pool, infinity pool type setup. So that was a place that we kind of like hung out for a little bit. But then even before you enter the stadium, the Madden van was parked
Yep.
outside where you got to play Madden against each other. They had a football toss where Antonino, you were kind of did you throw at all?
I did. I won a hat. I still have that hat. I wear it with pride.
Oh, the pity hat. That's right, because you couldn't get like,
I
hey,
made it in the
good
holes.
job,
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Great job. Yeah. So there was that, and then what? Right next door, I got all my food from
The Yeti.
the Yeti
Yes.
people. Yeah, they had free
So
food,
cool.
free sliders from one of the local vendors there. So it was like good premium pit
Yeah.
beef. I had to take up that opportunity. So while you guys, I didn't partake in the tailgate actually because I'm not a burger hot dog guy. So while you guys paid your $30, I got my free sliders, no admission fee.
I like your style. I like your style. My money did go to charity, mind you, so that
That's
was
true.
part of it, which I felt good about. Had a ton of burgers and hamburgers and chips, but yeah, all around everything is super walkable. Like you mentioned, Texas Live with the restaurants, the bars, concert venue, hotels. Everything is walkable. We went bounced from one place to another. We even stopped at the team store. Then there was the spot leading up to the stadium there. I think we'll touch on that next.
That's right. We will. But before we do that, Antonino, let's hop into our half-minute halftime show.
That's right. We just hit 1,000 followers. I still got my Cowboys boots on. I'm dancing. I'm
What?
celebrating. I appreciate everyone that followed us. Please leave us a review on Spotify and let us know what you think.
That's all Antonino's hard work too, connecting and engaging with the chain movement. So if you're wondering who's talking to you on the other end, more 9 times out of 10, it's probably Antonino. So if you're trying to slide into them DMs, send us a link, shoot us a message. We are happy to engage.
Yes.
All right, man. So you kind of led into this, but we're going to head into third down. The stadium, AT&T Stadium itself, the spectacle that it is. You're alluding to the Miller Lite Plaza, which is this artificial field outside of the actual artificial turf field that's
Yeah.
inside the stadium, and it's like a mini replica of the field in the stadium. But there's like vendors all around it. It's kind of like, it gave me a carnival vibe. Like they had a carnival vendor type things going on. What was your impression though? I want to know, because this is your first time like actually going to a game here. What was your impression walking up to this stadium, going to Miller Lite Plaza, and just becoming a part of the pageantry?
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, the lights were bright, folks. Okay, so first you have to they have to check your ticket. You scan your ticket to get into this section. Once you're in, like Nick said, there's a big artificial field. People are drinking. There's food trucks. There's beer vendors left and right. But what I noticed, because I'm fed and happy, and I was drinking, was the DJ. The music was on point. It felt
Was.
like I was in a club. You're
Yeah.
walking on this turf field. People are everywhere, just having a good time. So the music, the lights, the field, and then there were some cheerleaders that came out.
That was, yeah, it was interesting. We were like standing on the field. There's a bunch of kids out there with their parents throwing footballs around. Footballs are flying all over the place. And we noticed there was like rope on the side of the field with people just partitioned off on the side, on the other side of the rope. And we're like, what's going on here? Eventually, security comes. They're telling everybody to get behind the rope. And all of a sudden, the famous Dallas
Yeah.
Cowboy cheerleaders come escorting in. They do a 2 or 3 dance numbers, which it was really impressive. Like I think they are definitely some of the top athletes out there
Yes.
too. And I'm not just saying
Mhm.
that for, I get the rep that sort of thing has, and this whole male gaze, that's a whole different conversation. But the cheerleaders are super good athletes
Yep.
too. Like some of the stuff they were doing was pretty impressive.
Yeah, they go through interviews and tryouts, just like teams and players for sports. They go through the gauntlet to make
They do.
this cheer squad. And the Cowgirls, the Dallas Cowgirls, besides the team on the field, the Cowgirls,
Okay.
the Cowgirls that are the cheerleaders,
Oh, yeah.
they're the best of the best in the business as far as
Yeah.
cheerleading goes. So seeing them was special. The music, the temperature outside, it got a little chilly when the sun went down, but as soon as they came out, the temperature went right back up.
Oh my
So,
God.
again, just setting the tone. Jerry Jones,
Uh,
pure spectacle from start to finish.
It was. Okay, so then, that's the Miller Lite Plaza out in the front of the stadium. But then you work yourself into the stadium. And Antonino, I need to know, because again, you've never been inside of the stadium, but
Yep.
you've been on the outside. Give me that moment when you walked into those front doors and saw the Jumbotron, saw
Oh,
the 70,000 plus seats, the
man.
the top of the roof opened up, the music, everything that was going on. Give me it. What
I,
was your impression?
I literally had goosebumps. You walk in this place and just the aura, like as far as the eye can possibly see in the distance, you see bleachers way out the third, fourth level of the field from way out. You see the roof open. You walk up. There's tons of people. It's a huge concourse, huge area to walk. You get up to the railing so you can finally see the field, and you're just like a kid at Disney World gazing on the distance, like seeing just the sheer amount of people, probably 100,000 people with the seats and standing room included. We got to check the attendance, but just the spectacle that was AT&T Stadium at that moment, I had goosebumps.
It's yeah. I mean, this is only the second time I've been to AT&T Stadium. I went 10 years ago, shortly after it opened up, but I've been to many stadiums since then, and I think I was really appreciating the magnitude of the architecture, just the
Mhm.
architectural feat that this structure is. It's even if you're not a football fan, I think there's something there for everybody. Like,
Yep.
it's just so interesting and so unique. Like, as you're navigating and getting up to your 400 level seats, because let's be real, that's all we could afford when we bought these back in
Yeah.
September. Now that, we could have gotten something cheaper or sooner. But, as you're navigating up to your seat and walking up to the staircases, each level, there's something going on. Like in the 200 level, I don't know if you saw it, Antonino. There was a drum line with the dancers just like nonstop, just going
Yep.
at it, and they were really good, like really good drum line. Then you go up another level. There's like a bar section with like a dance club type thing. It's like it's not even just about football there. It's just about pure entertainment.
Yep. And these fans, you think, oh, at the top, you can barely see this and that. No, no, no. These guys are glued on the action. They're passionate. They're doing chants, the drum line. These guys are engaged with what's happening on the field. Like they're the biggest fans way up there. But lucky for us, there is the ability to come on down, and we'll talk about that later too, to the 100 level and catch a view from very close.
That's true. Yeah. Like, catch a view very close.
Yes.
Well, more like running. All right. Well, that's the stadium though, man. But then we found our seats, right? And now fourth down, the main event, the game, the thing we came there for, even though
Yes.
everything else was like, kind of additive at that point. But the big game between our Cowboys and Bengals. At this rate, most folks already know what the outcome was, but walk me through that, man. We got to our seats. I'll first say we were surrounded by Bengals fans, not
Yep.
Cowboy fans. There were a ton of Bengal fans up there near our section. But how are you kind of feeling once the
Yeah.
game kicked off? And talk me through some of the first quarter and stuff.
Like you said, there were so many Bengals fans there. And being as we were going up to our seats, everyone was so friendly from both sides, Dallas fans, Bengals
Yeah,
fans. And I think because we're both now 5-8, it gave a more friendly environment. Everyone was just happy to be there. Everyone was just happy to watch football, and everyone was glad to see a good game. And that's all we wanted going into it as
right.
well, was to see a good game and have fun.
Yeah. I mean, you were a trooper, man. I mean, you came out there knowing that you were the one Bengal fan with us, and we were probably riding you more than any of the Cowboy fans. Nobody was really giving you a hard time though,
Yeah.
outside of the guys in our group. But we were trying to catalog Antonino's emotions throughout the game because Antonino can be a very high low guy at times. Like when the emotions are running, you'll see it with Antonino. So we were trying to capture like first quarter Antonino before kickoff, like excited. Once the game got going, though, things were a little uneasy there. We
Yeah.
have to be real. Dallas was putting a few punches out there earlier. There was that fourth down TD to CeeDee Lamb.
Uh,
Antonino
uh,
kind of sunk back in a little bit. You got a little quiet there, man.
Yeah, yeah. I was at the edge of my seat. We went 3-and-out. We got the ball first. We kick it to you guys. It was 4th-and-1. And that throw had some touch on it. There's a guy in his face, touchdown CeeDee Lamb. I'm like, oh boy, buckle up. It might
That
be a long
Bengals
night.
defense. That Bengals
But luckily,
defense.
Jamar Chase would then tie it up on the next drive, 7-7. And I say, hey, we got a game. That changed everything.
Yeah. But it was honestly, I was having such a great time with the Bengals fans that were next to us, a whole family. There's like 12 of them. It flew out from Ohio. They were such lovely folks. We had a great time chatting. It was all fun, like little jabs and stuff. And they went and bought us all a round of drinks. It was just super nice. Like that was the energy that was just percolating the entire day. Just like positive energy, a lot of cool people. But Anthony, we got to halftime and you just disappeared on us though, man. Like then we get the text from you. You're saying, "Hey, I'm going down to the 100 section." So in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, this guy's running away. He can't handle the heat anymore because his Bengals aren't whooping up on this sorry Cowboy team." You guys were healthy for the most part. You had all your key offensive weapons there. You know, what was going on? Was that like part of it, like fear? Were you running
No, no,
away
no,
from
no.
the combat?
So it was a tie game. Everything was fine. The people up there were really nice. Don't get me wrong. But like you mentioned, like you alluded to, we bought these tickets when the Cowboys were 1-0. So we spent around about $160-ish per ticket to be at the very
Hey, don't
top.
be throwing that business out there.
Yeah, I know. But we had success prior to kickoff, standing in the back of the end zone on the side and standing level area on the 100
Oh,
level.
no.
So I'm thinking to myself, you know what? It's halftime. I'm going to get my butt
Oh,
down
my
there and
goodness.
squeeze in and get 100 level standing room spot. And that's what we did.
So wait, are you saying that this was a superstition reason? Are you saying there was like a little element of superstition that was going into you moving?
I am Mr. Superstition. You know that. My watch band that's orange could only do so much. I'm wearing it now. Gonna wear it for the rest of the season because it worked. I have a lot of superstitions, yes.
Well, I know that, but I didn't realize that the reason why you moved was partially because of some superstitious belief that you needed to be in.
Guilty as charged, but obviously, it did work because a
Yeah.
little something something happened in the game, a certain kick, a certain block. Tell me again, how did that go down?
Look, man. Look, come on. You can admit and just admit to it. After Dallas sacked Burrow to make it 4th and what, 26? And
Mhm.
Dallas was going to get that punt back. I know in the back of your mind, you're like, well, shoot, our season's over with now. Because all that Dallas really needed to do is get within the 45, 50-yard line to set up Aubrey. The dude can kick it from 65 yards. So they just needed to run some clock, get into position for Aubrey, kick the game winner, and make it 23-20. But no, we know what happened. There was the block punt, which would have been even worse for you guys because even better field position. But we had a certain player who I guess was not coached up well enough in that situation. Did a Leon Lett, if you're not familiar with that, Leon Lett, Thanksgiving game in 91 against Miami, touched the block field goal. Miami got the ball back, kicked the field. Same deal. You guys got the ball. You ended up getting that TD to Jamar Chase. Rest is history. Game over.
Yeah, it's
Just a sorry way to lose,
It's a
but
little bit of karma. I think right before that 4th and 26 or what have you, Burrow did get a swipe at the helmet. That was a face mask that wasn't
yeah,
called. So I'll let that be. Then the person who blocked that punt, believe it or not, Nick Vigil, used to play for the Cincinnati Bengals. Fun fact. So former Bengal blocks the kick. We see the special teams coordinator jumping, like celebrating on the sideline, who we happen to see pre-game walking
that's
from
right.
his car to the building.
Also entering into the stadium, we
The
saw
special
him.
teams coach,
Yep,
yep.
yep.
So that was cool. And then his look just completely went down when his own player touched the ball. I feel bad for the guy who touched it because
Are you
Parsons is
sure? I
bad.
think Fossil was just like waving his hands, like "Don't touch the
Yeah.
ball." I don't think he was like celebrating. He was like, "Just don't touch it."
At first he was like, yeah. And then after that, he was like, don't touch it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the highs and lows, like we said, about the emotions through the game. And then my favorite part of the entire night. No, you might think, oh, Burrow to Chase. No, 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 no. It was Burrow to Lisa, who then juked Homer Simpson out of his shoes at cornerback and took the ball for a touchdown to win
Yeah.
those Bengals a game. Lisa Simpson, game-winning touchdown. Love to see it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we were there during the one and only Simpsons broadcast of a football game. I am curious, anyone a part of the chain movement that's listening, did any of you watch the alternate broadcast in The Simpsons? Let us know. I'm just curious. How was that experience? I've seen bits and pieces. It looked cool. It was like a video game, so it seemed like it was a fun time.
It was so cool. I saw the rerun after the game when we got back to the hotel. I actually watched the cartoon version on NFL Network, and Krusty the Clown was kicking field goals.
Oh wow.
Mo Sizlak was taking calls from Bart Simpson, like prank phone calls during timeouts.
Ah,
It was fun. It was cool. But one last tidbit before we
yeah.
wrap things
We'll
up.
wrap it up.
After the game ended and everyone's favorite team was victorious, the Bengals.
Oh
Thank you
my
very much.
gosh.
We were able to go down to the field and see the set of Monday Night Football where we saw our Maryland native, Scott Van Pelt, interviewing
right.
Jamar Chase. And we were like 50 feet, if that, away from him. It was so cool to be up close and personal like that.
Real quick, I thought it was so funny. I'm the one Cowboy fan that's actually hanging around after a defeat just to, I'm with you and our other buddy. And the whole Bengal chant, which I didn't even realize that was the whole thing. Like, who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Who they? So
Yep.
everybody starts chanting it. I just say under my breath, 8 teams. And this group of women in front of me all turn around and give me the dirtiest look. Like,
Yep.
what? I'm like, hey, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Yeah,
You
you
guys
were
won
almost
tonight.
ended.
You got the win, but like, who they gonna beat the Bengals? Yeah, half the NFL is gonna beat the Bengals this year.
Hey, it was a great experience. You almost got taken down. You were outnumbered, so you had a little taste of
Yeah.
what I went through. But so
All
cool to
love.
see Jamar Chase up close. So cool to see Scott Van Pelt up close. And last but not least, I hope everyone listened to the odds father the other week. He said, put your life savings on the Bengals to cover the 5.5 point spread. Thank you. You're welcome. And
Barely.
life savings, you just doubled it just like that.
Wow,
So
barely.
hope
All
everyone
right.
enjoyed that.
Well, that was it. That was our trip to Dallas, Texas, the mecca of the NFL. We got to see the game. We got to do the tailgate. We went to the Star. It was a cool experience. Happy to have been there with you, man, and that we got to go through that. But let's wrap this up. Let's head into our 2-minute drill and cover some of the news that we might have missed.
Joe Burrow had his home broken into Monday night while he was playing. There must have been one upset Cowboys fan out there.
Oh, wow. Well, Dallas's linebacker, Demarion Overshawn, tore his ACL, his MCL, and his PCL. Obviously out for the year. He's going to miss some time next year, too. Tragic blow because this guy was having such a great season, and he missed all of his rookie year because of similar injuries.
Bill Belichick, the ageless wonder, signs a deal to coach North Carolina Tar Heels college football this coming season.
Yeah, 5 years. And the Denver Broncos are re-signing left tackle Garrett Bowles to a 4-year, $82 million extension for the good season he's had protecting Bo Nix.
A bettor in Kentucky wagered one of the largest bets in NFL regular season history by placing a $1.3 million bet on the Philadelphia Eagles this past weekend to beat the Carolina Panthers, and I know he is thankful for that receiver dropping the ball on that last drive.
Xavier Legette, there you go. He should cut him a little check, too, for the winnings. But Aaron Rodgers suggested that the New York Jets need to snap some sort of curse in order to turn the franchise around. The Jets haven't been to the playoffs in almost 15 years, which is the longest stretch out of any active team currently. So I wonder what the curse is. Maybe it's him.
San Francisco linebacker Dre Greenlaw, if you recall, he tore his Achilles in the playoff last year, running onto the field from the sideline. Complete freak accident injury. He will be returning on Thursday Night Football against the Rams this week. I hope he has a successful return.
He's not the only Niner that could be returning in that Thursday night game. For fantasy managers out there who have been just checking the pulse nonstop, Isaac Guerendo, the next man up in that 49ers backfield, is expected to be active. So depending on when you're listening to it, we'll know the results, or maybe put him in your lineup if you catch this before the game starts.
In other injury-related news, Derek Carr broke his hand and got a concussion on the same play. Reaching for a first down, he flipped, landed on his hand, got a concussion, probably done for the rest of the season.
And I've been reporting this news all year, but Antonino's team, Cincy Jungle, has made it to our fantasy playoffs, barely, narrowly escaping by beating the last place team this past weekend. While my team is sitting on a first-round bye, so you're in a win or you're out situation, and I'll be sitting back on the couch enjoying life this weekend.
In a last positive note here, in 4 games versus Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, TJ Watt, and Micah Parsons, Bengals rookie offensive tackle Amarius Mims has allowed 0 sacks. Impressive.
Way to go. Finally somebody can block for Burrow. Well, that's it, man. Why don't you wrap us up here?
Man, it was a pleasure going with you to the Lone Star State of Texas. The game was an amazing time. Hope we can do this again. Hope everyone enjoyed listening in on our experience. And as always, we'll see you on the next one. The next one is the best one.
That's right. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the First and 30 podcast. Until next Wednesday, remember, when your number's called, no matter the odds,
let's go for it.